Hey guys, it's Glenn Brown and welcome back to the YouTube channel. Guys, today's video is going to be very special. We're going to talk about the 5 top ways to kill it in sales. I know a ton of you are in sales, and if you're not in a sales industry, trust me, you're still in sales and you can still utilize this information. Make sure you get a pen, get a piece of paper, take notes, and make sure you utilize this information, and let's freaking learn, train, and become better today. With that being said, let's start with number 1. So, if you're in any sales industry, I don't care if it's automotive, I don't care if it's solar, I don't care whatever you do, door-to-door sales, business to business, it does not matter. Listen, number 1, you have to master your sales process. In any sales process, it's normally the same, but you have to know each step of the process and you have to follow whatever that process is. Do not go to the other ends. Don't do other things that literally are not aligned to what you're supposed to do. If there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 step process, you need to follow that by the order. Don't try to shortcut. Shortcutting will get you nowhere. And what is shortcuts for? They're for amateurs. And if you don't want to be an amateur, if you don't want to make amateur paychecks, you got to be a pro. So if you want to be a pro, master your sales process. So there's normally an open to a close. So when you open, you have to have great energy, right? You got to go up to people. You got to have a smile on your face. You got to smile with your eyes. You got to be the best freaking person that they've ever met. You have to have a great attitude, and it's such a good charisma and infectious energy for them. So when you open, make sure you're somebody that you would want to do business with, and that's somebody that can literally push your energy into them. What is persuading? Selling is persuading. And what is persuasion? Persuasion is a transfer of emotion. So you literally push your energy, push your happiness, your joy, your confidence into them. And what is that going to do? That's going to raise theirs. So that is key. Secondly, you're going to have to create the gap. What is that? And I'm just going to put create right there. Creating the gap is literally asking them about them, building a freaking relationship with people. Guys, we're not going to do transactional sales anymore. You're not going to sell to make money. You're going to build relationships that end up making you money because you built a great relationship and you're helping people help themselves. How are we going to do that? By asking great questions. What I would say, write this down. Well, first off, write down open to close, but you can literally write down format, okay? So number 1, you can obviously ask them where they're coming from, right? So where are you coming from? Where have you lived? How long have you been there? Would you graduate? You want to ask them good qualifying questions. They're asking them about them to build a relationship, right? But format, F.O.R.M.A.T, right? So you can ask them about their family for F. You can ask them, about their occupation. Where do they work? Where did they work before? How long they worked there? What chose them to work there? You can ask them about their recreation. You know, what do they like to do for fun? You know, what are their sports? What are their hobbies? What do they like to do with their family on the weekends? Just what do they like to do in general? This is very, very key. And then you can actually use some of the things that you connect with or you relate with, or just some stuff that you freaking know about. And then you can literally talk to them about that and start to open up that conversation and build a relationship. Okay, so we got, like I said, F, family, O, occupation, R, recreational, and then M, we're going to be talking about motivation. You know, what wakes them up in the morning? What gets them fired up? You know, literally, or what are they doing this life for? What is their dreams? What are their goals? This is super awesome and super valid, and you want to know this information. A is going to be for animals. You know, that's very simple, but do you have any animals? Oh, how long have you had it? People love talking about themselves. People love talking about their animals, so utilize that. And then T, like I said, T are what I talked about earlier, but it's teams. You know, what are your favorite teams? Do your kids play for sports teams? What are their teams? You know, what kind of sports do they play? You know, did you play sports growing up? Ask them about questions. This will build a strong foundation, and this is before you get into selling anything. So now they know you're a great person. They know you want to build a relationship with them. And now, once you create the gap, you're going to ask qualifying questions, okay? So now you ask, so let's just say you're selling automotive, for instance. You know, how long have you been in the market? Have you test drove one of these yet? If they haven't, oh, dude, you're going to love these. These are actually my favorite vehicle in the world if they came on a specific vehicle. If they have test drove them, hey, I completely understand. Mike, let me ask you, what actually kept you from purchasing beforehand? You know, you say you drove 5 or 7 of them. What just hasn't been able to click to make you purchase one yet? You obviously like the vehicle. You know, ask them. You drove all the way down here. You know, what made you interested in this one in particular? There's so many questions you can ask them. You know, how long have you been in the market? Okay, how long have you had your current vehicle? Okay, awesome. And whenever you got your current vehicle, you know, what made you interested in getting that when you got it? If you're in solar, you know, whenever you set up and you hooked up with a utility company, what made you interested in hooking up without a utility company? Well, it was probably the only choice. Okay, awesome. Well, if there was actually 2 choices and there was a secondary energy option in which you could qualify for, and that was actually cheaper and that you could actually own one day instead of yours not being inflation proof and constantly going up, would you have picked, which option would you have picked? Obviously, there's so many questions. You guys can master your own industry. You know the questions to ask in your industry, but you have to ask these questions to figure out what they're interested in. Really, you're just trying to find their goals. What are they looking for? Okay, what is the item? What is the product that they're looking for? What is something that they want? Okay, now you need to keep their goals in the center of their decision making. Okay, write that down. Keep their goals in the center of their decision making. Now, when you ask these questions, you find out their goals. That's all you're doing is you're asking questions to find out what they what they want, why they want it, how they want it, and literally how you can prescribe that solution that they're looking for. Okay, now that we've asked the question, obviously we're going to demo. So if you're in solar, you're going to present you're basically going to tell them what it's going to do for them. You know what the product is. If you're in automotive, you're going to be able to show them physically what the product is, what it does for them. Let them test drive it. And if you're in automotive, listen. The feel of the wheel seals the deal. You have to know this. So that has to be that moment where you're driving up the freaking energy, pushing more energy into them the whole time, even more than the opening. So whenever you're doing this, you have to let them know. Like, you have to get them involved in every single way. Let them smell the product if possible. Let them touch the product. You know, make them literally touch this seat right here. Literally make them grab the wheel, turn on the stereo. Dude, get them freaking involved. Get them to be able to be literally inside of the product, but like literally make them freaking feel immersed in the product. Make them feel like they are one with the product. And I swear this will change the game for you. So now that you've demoed it, you're freaking driving it home. You're like, dude, you're asking them questions. You're asking them great questions while they're demoing it. Like, how would this benefit you? You know, how would the transition from what you're currently at to this state, I mean, how would that feel? How would it feel driving down the road and you have your kids in the back and you're on the way to Jimmy's soccer practice and you literally know that you're so comfortable, your AC's working now, your radio's bumping, you know, the music's blaring. How's that going to feel for you guys? How pumped up are you going to be? Ask them questions, like little trial close questions that's going to get them hooked on the product, make them start thinking and start owning the vehicle. Okay, you can be like, how's this going to feel whenever you park this in the garage every night and you know that nothing's going to happen, you know, to the vehicle, to you and your family. You can just ask them certain questions. How's this going to feel parking this in your driveway tonight? Ask them little questions to tie them in. Okay, so now that you've demoed it, obviously, then you're going to go to the close, okay? And during the close, this is where you just wrap it up, okay? Okay, obviously, you wanted X, Y, and Z. I got you X, Y, and Z, right? And now that we've had X, Y, and Z, and you didn't want X, Y, and Z, what you currently have, we made sure you don't have that anymore and you're getting what you want. Let's go ahead and wrap up the deal because we made sure to keep all of your wants and your needs and your goals at the center of the decision. Hey, at the end of the day, what my grandfather always taught me, go ahead and shake my hand, ironclad handshake. What I promise you is I don't let my clients make bets on things that they cannot win. So that being said, believe in me, trust in me. Once you commit, I will not let you fail. Shake their hand and wrap up the deal. Okay, number 2, understand your product and service and how it helps people, okay? You have to understand, no matter what you sell, how does it help people? Literally write that down. How does my product help people? How does your service that you provide to them, how does that help people, okay? What are you different about? What do you do differently that they're not going to get from somebody else? Now, what happens when someone doesn't buy from you? Okay, if they literally don't buy from you and they go to get a little bit of a cheaper price somewhere else, are they going to get the service that you're having to provide? Are they going to get the respect, the loyalty, the love, the literally the infectious energy that you're going to provide them? Are they going to be able to call up that other dealer? Are they going to call up that other solar company and get the questions and the answers and the resolve or the results that they need very quickly? Or are they going to be very frustrated? So you have to know what you do better than your competition and what you're doing better than them that's separating yourself from them. Listen, understand how your product helps people. Write that down and understand what happens when people don't buy. Listen, if anyone ever says price, listen, like I can go get a car $500 cheaper down the road. Listen, I don't like cheap stuff. Do you like cheap stuff? Awesome. Why are we talking about cheap stuff? At the end of the day, all I can speak is for my product. And whenever you go to buy something, you want to make sure that it's very well taken care of and that you're getting served at the highest level. Am I right? Absolutely. With that being said, I cannot speak for them, but I know that we have a top-rated vehicle right here. We are highest in all the critical areas important to you and your family. Listen, we're best at customer service. We're best in price. We're best in trade-in, and we're best in payments. With that being said, I mean, you can go and you can look and you can try to find a $500 car, but I promise you, it's priced $500 lower because of something, right? I'm not just charging you the same car for $500 more. We provide so many products and services that are going to blow you away and that you're getting that are more than $500 worth of value over there. Listen, if you want to go for the cheapest thing, you're more than welcome to go do that. But at the end of the day, I promise you, there's something over there that's causing it to be $500 less. And whenever you get over there, you're probably disappointed by the service. You're going to be disappointed by the vehicle. There's something wrong with it that you don't know. Even if you don't find it out that day, 6 months down the road, when something pops when the tire pops because they put some Maypop tires on there that may pop when you drive up the lot, and we put grade A brand new tires on there, you'll understand, wow, I shouldn't have went and done that. Listen, and then you can paint third-party pictures. I did the same thing for my sister, 3 years ago. We went out, we looked at her car, we ended up not buying it because it was $1,500 more. We bought another car, it was $1,500 cheaper. We bought that. Then the transmission went out, cost us $5,000. If I could go back, which do you think I would do? You think I would choose the one that was $1,500 more, or do you think I would go a little bit cheaper? Exactly. I would go for $1,500 more because you pay for what you get, am I right? Value is important to you, and if you were looking for the best value, this is the vehicle. Listen, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Stick your hand out and shake the deal. Let's close the deal. Okay. Now, number 3, learn to overcome your top 5 objections. Listen, if you want to be in the top 1%, you have to know what are the top 5 objections. Literally, write them down right now. I need to talk to my wife. I got a few other vehicles I want to look at. Whatever it is, the price is too high. Whatever it is, write down your top 5 objections, okay? Now that once you did that, if you can figure out a word track, something that you know that's tattooed on your heart to say as soon as they say that. Like if they say, hey, Glenn, I need to think about it. If you're on the pencil, you're going to close and they say, hey, I need to think about it. You say, let's say in automotive, for instance, you say, hey, Jeff, I completely understand you need to think about it. And when you say you need to think about it, do you mind being a little bit more specific why you need to think about it? And they'll say, more than likely, I just need to think about it. This is called a stall, okay? So now you have to isolate that objection, okay? So now what do you have to do? Hey, completely understand. Jeff, most of the time what I've learned, I've been doing this for a long time, is when someone says that they need to think about it, what I've learned is it's either one of two things. Number one, you're just no longer interested in the vehicle, which I know that's not the case. Otherwise, we wouldn't be this far if it was, am I right? So it leads me to believe it's number 2. There's something within the numbers of the deal that's concerning you. Jeff, what is concerning you the most? Is it the price, the payment, or the trade-in? Which one is it? Okay, now they're going to say price, payment, and trade-in. Now you can figure out, if you're in the automotive industry, now you figure out your price, your payment, and your trade-in objections, how to overcome them. But now you've isolated that objection and got them over here. You got them from somebody who you don't even know what they're thinking or what their issue is. Now you've isolated that, you figured out what it was, and now you can close it. But if you want to be in the top 0.0 or 0.001% in the industry and you want to make $1 million a year, what do you have to do? You have to learn the top 5 objections in 5 different ways. So you have to learn how to overcome them 5 by 5. That's what it's called. That's what Andy Elliott, my sales trainer, the #1 sales trainer in the world, has taught me. If you want to be the best, you got to do 5 objections in 5 different ways. If you can do that, dude, you're going to sound a little bit scripted at first, but once ever you figured out the perfect thing to say and you say it over and over and over, and you said it in the mirror and you said it to people and you've got rejection and you've overcome and you've done good and you've done bad and you record yourself and you're doing this over and over and over, and then you have 5 different ways, dude, you're just going to start plugging words together. It's going to flow like water and you're going to sound like an expert and you're going to be able to overcome any situation. Your confidence is going to be through the freaking roof and no one's going to be able to stop you. Now, number 4. Learn every single way to get leads and use them all. Listen, no matter what industry you're in, if there's only one way to generate leads, there's more than one way, I promise you. You can post on social media. There's a bunch of different ways. But if you're in automotive, for instance, dude, you can cold call people. You can dial your leads. You can literally go to your service drive. You can post on the internet, but you can also post on Facebook. You can post on Craigslist. You can get inbound calls. Dude, there's so many ways. So write down all the different ways that you can get leads, literally, and whatever you think that is, go do some research. Make sure that that is all of them. Now go make a list and make sure you're doing time block your day and hit every single one of them every day, or else you're doing yourself a disservice. Unless if you're hitting 2, 3, 4 deals and you literally just don't have time from start to finish, you must hit the whatever's making you the most money. Listen, so many people are out there and they're doing literally non-earning income activities. You have to learn how to fill your schedule with earning income activities every single day to become the salesperson you want to be, to make that 1% money and to change your family's life. Now, number 5, this is so important. Make sure you write this down. Now, you need to learn to influence, persuade, and close people, okay? How do you do that? Listen, number 1, and like I said, I learned this from Andy Elliott, the #1 sales trainer in the world. So you need to paint pictures, tell stories. This can also be for third party. So like I said, for the automotive, you could say, my sister, and you could paint a picture. Listen, my sister, we went out, we bought a car that was $1,500 cheaper. Ends up, we looked at the one that was $1,500 more. It was perfect. It was everything she wanted, but I was pinching my pennies and I didn't really want to spend the money. Okay, 3 months later, we bought the one $1,500 cheaper. She drove it for 6 months and then the transmission went out. Once the transmission went out, it was $5,000. And who had to pay for that? Who do you think had to pay for that? It was me, okay? And so if I just would have went with the other one that was $1,500 cheaper, I would have saved myself $3,500. Okay, now if I could go back in time and pick which one, if you could go back in time, if you were me and you could pick which one would you pick? Okay, so it's the same exact scenario. Listen, you don't like cheap stuff. I don't like cheap stuff. There's a reason for the price of the value, and there's a reason you came down here today. It's because we have the best value for the best price. And if you want to go the cheaper route, I guarantee it's going to cost you more money in the long run. So if money is a big concern for you, if you want to save the most amount of money possible, this car right here is going to be the best deal and the best money saver right now and later down the road. Wouldn't you agree? Perfect. So you paint a picture, you told a story, you put a third-party reference in there, and you made it easy for them to say yes. So what does that mean? Learn in your industry. What are the questions that you can ask that are easy to say yes? Like literally, like if you're in life insurance, you could be like, listen, obviously your family is very important to you. Am I right? Easy to say yes. If they say no, okay, life insurance isn't for you. But if they say yes, life insurance, like yes, my family is important to me. Okay, and if you had to write the check to literally, if you had to cash the check for what your family safety and security is worth, you probably couldn't cut that check, could you? Okay, because most people can't write a freaking $50 million check and their family's lives are worth more than $50 million. So you also have to make it hard to say no or say no when you want them to. So if you had to cut a check for your family safety and security, you probably couldn't write that check, could you? So you're in control. Your words, you have to realize how powerful our words are. And it says that in the Bible. It says that from God. It's up to you. You are the whole reason from the start to finish why they will buy. If they don't buy, you are literally doing them a disservice because you are in control of the situation. You have the ability to get them to say yes, to agree with you, to see the whole reason why they are buying and keeping their goals in the center of the decision, and the reasons why they would go forward and why they would say no to certain other things as to not going with your product or service. So you're in control of the situation and you have to get that through your head. Now, so you make it easy to say yes. You make it hard to say no unless if you want them to say no, but you're going to make it easy to say yes by asking good questions that are going to make them say yes. Okay? Same thing for life insurance. Listen, on the worst day of your life, when you're to be gone and your family's left, with this burden, obviously, like you just said, you don't have the money to cut the check for them to be safe and secure. Am I right? They'll say yes. Okay, so now if you could cut that check and it was, let's say, $150 a month, and your family could get a tax-free check and be taken care of on the worst day of their lives when you're gone and there's no one there for them, so someone else doesn't have to move into your house and take care of your family for you, would the $150 be worth it for your family's safety and security to make sure they're taken care of when you're gone and you're no longer here? Make sure you're bobbing your head up and down. What are they going to say? No? Dude, you have to understand, make it easy to say yes, hard to say no, and you got to make it their idea every single time. How are you going to do this? Like I just did, painting pictures, telling stories, doing a third-party reference. Sometimes you want to keep that in the bag. Sometimes you want to say that later. Because if they still object after you paint pictures, you've told stories on the product, you made it easy to say yes, hard to say no to, and they're still like, well, I mean, it's expensive $150 a month. Listen, I promise you, Jeff, or let's just say Jimmy, I promise you, Jimmy, the price of not paying it way outweighs the price of paying $150 a month. Listen, if you were to go onto the road and some teenager swerved into your lane and hit you and killed you, and your family was left with nothing, could your wife provide for herself? Could your wife afford to take care of your family when you were gone? And you can shake your head because subconsciously they'll shake their head. No, absolutely not. Okay, with that being said, you're the man, and obviously you have to lead your family, and you have to be the one who chooses to change your life and protect your family. Am I right? Okay, well, if $150 is a little bit too much, I promise you that whenever you're gone and they have to pay a $2,000 mortgage and they have to pay the car payments and they have to move out of the house into an apartment, or if another man has to move into the house to take care of them, which one would you rather do? Would you rather that? Would you rather option A, where you pay $150 a month to protect your family and they're safe and secure and they have what they need while they're grieving over your loss? Or would you rather somebody else move into your house, or your family have to go move into an apartment, your wife has to get a job, someone has to babysit your kids, they're struggling and there was no time to grieve? Which one would you rather do? Would you rather option A or option B? They're option A. Dude, it's not very, very hard, okay? It's not very, very hard. It's not very hard. You just have to make common sense. Common sense close them, and it's not even about closing them. You are helping people help themselves. Guys, you're not going out there and selling something if it's not helping somebody. You are painting pictures, telling stories, making it easy to say yes, hard to say no, and you're making it their idea every time because you are letting them follow you. They're following you, right? They're following you by painting pictures. They're understanding and agreeing with you by saying yes. You're making it hard to say no unless if you want them to. So you're getting them to agree with everything that you're saying. So in the end, it's their idea now because you made them understand. You made them say yes to things. You made them say no to some things possibly. And now you literally close them because you kept their goals at the center of the decision, and now it's time for them to go ahead and change their lives. Listen, everybody's one decision away from changing their life. If you're selling insurance, I promise you that $150 they're spending in other areas. Nobody's even tracking their finances. Nobody even is aware of how much money they're wasting a month. If they choose to do that, I promise you that is a better investment, and now they'll start thinking bigger. They have bigger thoughts and bigger priorities and bigger things on their mind. People don't change until things change. If people don't get into a new car, if they have a certain car and they're wanting a better car, or if people don't have solar and you're trying to sell them solar, once they get these products, everything changes because they start to think about things different and their lives will get better. And you have to have a delusional belief that no matter what you're selling, as long as it is truly good, that this is benefiting them and that you're ripping them off if you don't sell them anything. Listen, if you can't close them, if you can't get them to get something that's better for them, that will literally better their lives, you are ripping them off. And they're going to go buy from somebody else who's going to treat them worse, who's not going to give them the customer service you're going to. So at the end of the day, if you love people, if you want to see people who succeed, you have to learn how to close. How do we learn how to close? We train. We train every single day for at least an hour to an hour and a half a day. Guys, you got to sit down with a pen and a piece of paper. You got to take notes, and you got to become the top 1%, the top 0.1% in your industry. How? By training. And who would I recommend? The number one sales trainer in the world, Andy Elliott. He's taught me everything I know. I owe so much of my success, so much of my mindset, my skill set, my habits to him. Obviously, it all comes from God, number one, okay? God led me to him, but God is everything. Without God, Andy would be nothing. I would be nothing. God is everything. So that would be my number one advice in the world is find God. And once you find God, find physical health. Once you find physical health, master your mindset, your skill set, and habits. And training is going to do that more than anything. So guys, with that being said, I love every single one of you. We are doing the Elliott Challenge. What that is if you go hard and you dedicate yourself for 3 years straight, you're getting closer to God, you're getting better physically, you're getting better mentally, emotionally, and you're training every single day in your industry for 3 years straight. Andy guarantees you'll be a millionaire or you have whatever you want in your life. If you want to join us, just use hashtag Elliott Challenge, put 1/1095. Start your journey. We're on day 80 right now out of 1095. We would love to see every single one of you change your lives, change your bloodline's lives, and change everyone around you's lives. With that being said, guys, if you need anything in the world, you need any information, you need any training, please call or text me directly at 573-305-9393. I appreciate every single one of you, and I hope you guys have a blessed day, and happy President's Day to you all. Thank you so much.